was a cold, rainy night when Michael's car sputtered to a stop on a deserted road. Stranded in the midst of a downpour, he had no choice but to seek shelter at the nearest place he could find, an old decrepit hotel on the edge of town. The Wickerwood Inn stood as a sinister silhouette against the stormy sky. Its dark, foreboding architecture and flickering neon sign didn't inspire confidence, but Michael had no other options. He hurried inside the rain-soaked lobby, exuding a musty, long-forgotten odor. The front desk was manned by a peculiar, disheveled man who called himself Mr. Forsyth. His eyes bore an unsettling glint as he handed Michael a tarnished key to room 66. No one stayed there in years. Mr. Forsyth mumbled his voice, a barely audible rasp. With a sigh, Michael ventured down the dimly lit hallway, his footsteps echoing in the silence. The eerie creaking of the floorboards underfoot sent shivers down his spine. Room 66 was tucked away in a forgotten corner of the hotel. As he entered the room, a feeling of dread washed over him. The air was heavy and chilled, and an oppressive silence filled the space. The furniture draped in tattered sheets seemed to watch him with an unspoken malevolence. Exhausted, Michael managed to fall asleep despite his unease. However, the night was far from restful. Strange noises echoed throughout the room. The distant sound of whispering voices and the faint, eerie humming of a long-forgotten lullaby. Around midnight, Michael was jolted awake by the sensation of a cold finger running down his back as if someone had scratched him with their fingernail. Terrified, he leaped from the bed and flicked on the lights. His heart raced as he inspected his back, revealing a series of red, angry scratches. It was then that Michael heard the whispering grow louder, filling the room with an otherworldly chorus of voices. The shadows danced on the walls, seemingly alive with malevolent intent. It was as if the very air was filled with the presence of unseen entities. In a state of panic, Michael gathered his belongings and made a dash for the door, determined to leave the Wickerwood Inn behind. However, the door refused to open, trapping him inside. Frantic, he pounded on the door, screaming for help, but his voice seemed to vanish into the oppressive stillness. The room itself seemed to close in around him as if the very walls conspired to keep him captive. After hours of struggle, dawn broke and the room seemed to release its hold on Michael. The door finally budged and he fled the sinister confines of room 66. Outside, the rain had stopped and the sun cast a feeble glow on the horizon. Michael's scratches had inexplicably disappeared, leaving behind only his nightmarish memories. The Wickerwood Inn remained an ominous, forgotten place, and Michael would forever wonder if the scratches were real or a product of a malevolent presence that dwelled within the room. He vowed never to return, carrying the harrowing memory of his night at the Wickerwood Inn with him for the rest of his life.